Now then, I assume you are the real Iris?
Yes, I was just rescued from the secret governor.
I must say you and your twin sister are indeed identical, from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she went back to the hell she came from. It seems that Misty Fey wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Fey, as well as the young Pearl Fey, were also victims of this wicked and selfish paladin. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again.
Your Honor?
Yes, what is it?
About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now.
Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study about the Korean channeling technique.
Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult?
I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench, and all that time I've finally learned this one thing. Each case is different, and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ.
Never thought of it that way.
At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor. What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot?
This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what he means. What?
That's right. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony?
Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern, and I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... Wazam! It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone.
Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. Elise Deauxnim. No, Misty Fey. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it.
This isn't over!
Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there's evidence that proves her innocence.
No way!
But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call our final witness. Final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Fey. Indeed.
Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor?
Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney. Very well then. Who is this final witness? Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case. Someone who saw the murder take place? The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes.
You mean Maya? You can't. She can't testify after what she's been through.
We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Fey to the witness stand. Very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Fey to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial. Hey, Trite, I've got something to say to you, so listen up.
What is it?
I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint of understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you.
You've got some nerve.
But that's not gonna happen this time. This time, you're gonna have to do this by yourself. That's enough. This court is now in recess.
Oh, Christ. What do you want?
I'm not really sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me. But I was missing already. We didn't have a chance to talk.
She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places, and Iris was inside the sacred cavern.
I wanted to be in the defendant's box today to do to your honor.
Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you, why did you help your sister out as much as you did?
Huh?
If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there.
My sister, I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by our mother and never got any love from our father either.
Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it?
Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come with me to her secret temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised her that I would help her.
Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago?
Yes, I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister Valerie ended up.
That was the case that wounded Mia so badly.
But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder.
Some people? You must mean...
Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to ruining the truth. Dahlia even tried to kill the person who unknowingly hid the poison for her. You.
That's right. Iris, there's one more thing that I have to ask you.
Yes, what is it?
On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Elise Deauxnim, was it really you?
Yes, it was me. That night after I regular lights out bearer, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone.
Who could that be? Oh, Dahlia, probably?
There's a problem! Come to the airport right away! I got out of the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple. But...
The path to the inner temple was cut off, right?
Exactly! You can't just leave the body here! So you've got to do this exactly as I say! Got it? It was me! I was the one that received her body! The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't breathe too much. The stuff that Mr. Carissa always heard.
I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff.
Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to our square temple on the snowmobile.
But why? Why did you alter the body?
I didn't want anyone to know that stuff was a murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Fey. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with a shichu. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground.
Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone. The real killer.
I'm sorry, Mr. Writer. I can't do it. I can't say who did it.
I see. Oh, so it wasn't Dahlia.
Defendant? Yes, sir. The judge is calling you. He wants you to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne. Alright. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you.
Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me. What could that be? So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix. Mia! How's Maya doing? Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case. I see. You know what I mean? She's learned who Elise Deauxnim really was? Yes, I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I know. But why? Maya is stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure that answer out by yourself. The trial is about to restart. The real killer. Do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who called her, but still. I think that just maybe I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple, and the criminal wasn't just there by accident, which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. And one more thing, the victim was moved to the Hazakura temple side by a pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the inner temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly. So the culprit was someone that wasn't in Hazakura temple the following day. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win. Or lose. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Fey? And who is that masked man? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me. All by myself. To be continued.
Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the tests we had performed earlier.
Tests?
Yes, tests on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree.
Oh yeah, that! I totally forgot about it.
That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought the victim.
So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or...
Due to some constraints, a full test was impossible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial.
So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then whose was it?
I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims.
I understand, Your Honor.
From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So, let's finish this quite quickly.
Agreed.
Very well. Please bring in the last witness. Witness, please tell us your name and your profession.
Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright and Co. Law Offices. Maya.
According to the magazine I have here, you are a spirit medium of the green channeling technique.
I'm frightened. The Fey clan, I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. The pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable.
Very well. Now then, Miss Fey, when the event occurred, you were in the garden of the inner temple, and you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Deaughnim's murder. Is this correct?
I didn't see any... Straighten up this instant, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But I... Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let us hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen?
Witness, if you please.
Yes, Your Honor. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. Oh, not again. I stumbled and ended up against a stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. Something warm.
So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been this stuff.
Maya, the person who hit you, it was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Huh. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around all alone.
It seems I will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination.
Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare pub room when it happened. Who else was on the inner temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course, but I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well. On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Head Square Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said? Well, let me think. She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. Who did it? Who hit you? Well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind. You didn't see the person? After that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Oh! Let me think for a sec. I'm sorry. I just can't remember. Maya is really having a hard time. What should I do? Considering the conditions of the crime scene, it's not surprising she didn't see our attacker. Huh. So it looks like even you've got some compassion.
Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was likely
the spirit that was channeled by Elise Deauxnim, Dahlia Hawthorne.
Very well, please continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head?
I stumbled and ended up against a stone lantern. What happened afterwards? My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think. You think? After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There were only two things rolling around in my mind at the time.
Well now, this is beginning to get interesting.
So what were the two things rolling around your head? My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was.
That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable in the circumstances. So, what did you do then?
I think I screamed, "Help me!" You think you screamed, but you're not sure? Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man? A woman? An adult? A child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits.
Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my ropes.
I thought this person might attack me, anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought it was my last hope. Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Do I press her for more details? Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No, that's what you said. You said my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, help me. Yeah. But you testified that you screamed because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like, what do you call it when that happens? Maya's not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah, oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. Ah! What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Huh?
Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person?
I am. Well, I meant to keep that part a secret. What have I done?
Huh. It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say.
A ton of pressure?
You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony.
I could see a man behind my I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. So it wasn't Iris. A man? Who was this man? Well, you see, I couldn't see. You couldn't see. She's used this excuse twice now. Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright.
Lantern light, did you say?
There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when an acolyte is there for training. Hey, you know what they say. Under the lantern, darkness reigns. So I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker, who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time. Then something warm splashed over me. You don't mean, was it? I didn't know at the time, but I think it was probably blood. She's saying that's when Miss Deauxnim, who was channeling Dahlia, was stabbed in the back by the killer. At that moment, I was paralyzed with fear. I was just sitting there in the snow. I'm sure blood got on everything around me. That's when I lost consciousness. So what happened next? I don't remember.
How were you saved? You don't even remember that?
No, I haven't got any idea. I really don't know what happened at all.
That's too bad.
I've worked side by side with Maya for 2 years now. I can tell when she's trying to hide something by how she acts. And right now, I'm absolutely positively certain she's hiding something. Let's see the lantern again. It wasn't lit, right? Yeah. There you go. So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man, he is the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Deauxnim, otherwise known as Misty Fey, your mother. The killer... Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you?
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
To be frank, Your Honor, I think she is in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with your testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. It's damn true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. No!
Order the court! Mr. Godot, explain this! Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee.
Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait.
Cafe au lait? Is that even legal?
Mr. Strite's words are the milk, and you are the spoon. Your Honor.
I'm a spoon. I'm not spoony bot, I'll have you know.
You must have noticed this too, right, Trite? This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not gonna cut it.
What do you say?
If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick! May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said she didn't know if he was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. Ah! In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person. Despite being so dark, could she see if No!
Order! What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Fey saw the real killer under pitch black condition?
Objection!
Trite, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Goodell. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark, and now you're trying to cover for him.
Cover? For the man that killed her mother?
There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick, I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Huh. You talk a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't! Please, stop! Maya is dead set on protecting this guy, the man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth.
Alright, Mr. Wright. Time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you say Miss Fey saw in the darkness?
Is there anyone else with glowing eyes? Because it was pitch black, Miss Fey was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes?
What? But how do you propose to show us something like that?
It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night.
Conditions?
Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off.
Hang on a minute, I didn't say yes. But, what, this is, but, it can't be.
Huh. That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder.
Order! Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it?
Huh. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person.
What do you mean by that?
If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights?
Well, witness, answer the question.
You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya, I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man for a totally different reason. What?
Witness, Mr. Wright, what the?
Stop your chattering, Your Honor.
Chattering?
If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules.
Alright. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but